welcome to Tune In with Talya. Hi, everyone. And welcome Thea Lobo, my special musical artist this evening. Hi.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the show tonight. So I just wanted to have everyone get to know you because you are a special person and you're a very special and beautiful singer. I met Thea when we were 16, right? At Tanglewood, Boston Tanglewood Institute, summer of '99.
Yeah.
And so we go way back, and I loved her voice back then. I loved it then, and I've now seen her now just flourish and become this beautiful mezzo soprano opera singer that she is. And you're just amazing.
Oh, thanks. Well, I always admired your voice so much. I remembered hearing you sing Orpheus in Eurydice,
Oh
and
yes,
I thought it was like the most beautiful thing I had seen. I was so inspired, and yeah,
thank you. Yeah, so
it's
we
great to
both
reconnect.
got it. Yeah, so it's wonderful to reconnect, and this is a wonderful way to do it, right? During this crazy time, this
Hmm.
certain time that we're in, and we can be doing this virtually. And I would love to just learn more about what you're up to these days. How's work going for you as a singer? What are you up to these days?
Sure. Well, I can fill you in a little bit since we last were actually singing together in the same place, which
Yeah,
was, I
which
mean,
is
we haven't really collaborated since then, which is sad. We'll have to remedy that soon.
yeah.
But I went to New England Conservatory for my undergraduate, and I had a wonderful experience there, and I got to know Boston, and I got to know a little bit about the early music scene, which is, considered sort of music. Beethoven and earlier is usually considered early music. So I got to know a lot about that because there's a lot of that in Boston.
Hmm.
I also got to know a lot about new music, which is, ideally the last 50 years or something like that, but sometimes it's flexible. And then I went to Boston University for my master's, and I had a very good experience there. And I studied with Penelope Beatsas, who I first studied with at BUTI. So
Remember?
that was a nice, like, coming all the way back around.
Hmm.
And I had a great experience there as well. I stayed in the Boston area, and I just tried to build my career. Used to do a lot of ensemble singing, and then I decided I needed to kind of do focus more on myself as a solo artist. So then I focused more on that.
Hmm.
And then I started splitting my time between Florida and Boston. And then I met my husband in Boston, and we uh, ended up getting married and having a little girl. And he ended up getting a job down here in Sarasota, Florida. And he's an organist and a choir director. His name is Sam Nelson.
Very nice.
And so we ended up back here in Sarasota, which is where I went to high school, and we had a few connections down here. And so now we're both at the church home of Church of the Redeemer in Sarasota, and we've been here about a year, and we really love it. We're near my parents, and I have in the last few years been spending a lot of my time on something called Indictus Project, which is a huge focus of mine lately. It is an organization. It's an organization dedicated to promoting and recording the music of women, minorities, and other marginalized composers throughout history.
Awesome. That's
So
wonderful.
it has a real special place in my heart. Throughout my career, I've been fascinated by kind of finding these undiscovered gems. When I would do research, I'd learn about composers, and I would wonder why people wouldn't touch these things. And I decided to take up, the cause of the unheard music.
That's wonderful.
So,
So
and that's what I'm spending a lot of time on now. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, sorry to interrupt you, but do you perform a lot of these pieces yourself with ensembles? Like, tell us more about the project itself and how you get this music heard.
So it started out just myself and my collaborator, Unmi Ko, who's a wonderful pianist who's on faculty at USF in Tampa, University South Florida. She's a really wonderful uh, collaborative pianist. And about three years ago, I think we ended up having some gigs together, and we started talking, and we realized that we both loved this like undiscovered music, and we decided to form a duo and form this initiative, Indictus Project, to champion this music. And it started out slowly, but we got some grants, and we did a lot of research, and we started to get some help. And getting married and having a kid, we put things a little bit on hold for a bit. But this year, coming back, we were able to bring things together again. And now we've been growing it. We've been reaching out to people and asking if they will contribute music and can contribute recordings to help us build this almost like an online library of premier recordings of this music.
Very cool.
And, so it's a slow process of building from the ground up, but
lovely.
Yeah.
Really. So going back to like the beginning of your, I guess you discovered that you could sing at what age, and when did you decide that that's what you wanted to do in your life? Tell me about kind of your early start as a singer.
Sure. I started out as a pianist when I started pretty late as a pianist. I started when I was about 12, but I found out I loved it. But I was very behind for the kids that started when they were 4. And I had a little bit of trouble catching up. I really enjoyed it, but I just couldn't put in like 8-hour days practicing as like a 12-year-old kid. I just couldn't do it. So I just knew I wasn't gonna be able to catch up. Somewhere midway through high school, I realized it wasn't in the cards to be a concert pianist. Mm-hmm. But I think the summer of the BUTI, I sent 2 applications. I sent one for piano and one for voice. Wow. And if you send 2, they get to pick which you do. And they picked voice. And so
there you go.
I thought, well, I guess it's a sign that I should be a singer. So from then on, I took singing much more seriously. And so, yeah, I guess partway through high school, I knew I wanted to be a serious singer.
Nice. And so which style of music is your favorite? Like you said, you do a lot of early music, you do a lot of modern music, you do what other kind of thing? You do art song, right? I heard.
Yeah. From you. I mean, it's all classical, really. I have done a little bit of jazz in the past. I haven't really done much lately. And I maybe do some kind of folk, there's kind of some folk music that's similar to classical in style.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's hard to choose. I think I like the variety the best if I do one thing for too long. But I especially love Bach. J.S. Bach he's probably my favorite composer. I have a tattoo of his initial. He has like a special crest, so I have a tattoo of that on my foot. I know it's scandalous, but I call it my dork stamp.
I love Bach music. I love his music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you miss choir singing? Because you said you did a lot.
Sometimes I really do. I really miss the social element of it. And I miss the collaborative. I mean, there's a lot of really fun parts to it. The only reason I stopped is I found the stamina for choral singing. Maybe you found this too. For choral singing, especially when I was in Boston and I was doing a ton of it, they would expect you to sing, 4, 6, 8 hours a day of just choral singing.
I remember that.
And doing it day after day after day, I just would lose my voice on a regular basis. I don't know how some of the people that did it all the time, I admire their stamina. I wish I had it, but it just got to be so difficult. And I found that I would have to choose on any given week. I could either sing in ensembles and kind of have a not as good a sound as a soloist, or I could sing it as a soloist and then not take on the extra choral work. So yeah, I hated having to choose, but I did one and then the other, so I got a little of both.
Nice. Yeah. And what about writing your own music? Have you ever dabbled in that world of?
I haven't. Sometimes I think I would like it, or sometimes I get like little tiny inspirations, but I don't think I have the training, and I just don't have like the compositional vocabulary to know how to express the little musical thoughts that I have. I mean, I'm pretty good in theory. I know how to write stuff down, but for me to transcribe the kinds of things in my head, I think it's just I'm probably thinking too complex of things, but
What
Do
about
you?
piano, with your piano skills, and you still play a little piano,
You
right?
would think I don't really keep it up.
No.
In a pinch, I can kind of bring it back up if I really need to, and I have periodically for things, but it's not easy. I haven't kept it up very well. Just I That's not great, but
So well either. Although sometimes, during this period of time, I've gone to like the piano again and taken out my books, my old college books, and started practicing a little bit.
nice. Do you compose?
I just started to do, I mean, in the last little while, I've been writing songs that I haven't really put out there, but I actually recently just put one out there for 9/11, which was
Oh,
something I wrote a long time ago, and I finally got it out there. So I do have
wow.
stuff that has been in the works for a long time that I really hope it's a goal of mine to get it, like a little EP out there of original songs, and then see,
Yeah,
you know, put it out in the world.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good luck with the rest of them.
Thanks. So, yeah, so tell us a little bit like about your career before all COVID happened. Like, tell us about the people you work with, the conductors you work with, some of the ensembles you work with, things that, stood out to you as highlights in your career.
Oh, sure. My or how far back to go, but
Oh, it's been a while.
um, when I got out of New England Conservatory for my undergrad, I was so thrilled, and I got a position at Trinity Copley Square, and I was there for a couple of years, and it was such a formative place, and it really connected me to so much of Boston. It was so visible, and it was one of the few kind of steady jobs. If you didn't have a high cost of living, you could almost kind of piece it together based on that job. So that was a wonderful place for me for a little while. I then I sang around Boston at a place at Handel and Haydn Society. I sang with them for several years. I sang with Boston Baroque for several years. I was sort of like a junior soloist a little bit there. I would do little step out solos, and I really really enjoyed those times as well. And then right after I was at Boston University for my master's, oh gosh, 2009 I think. Oh, I can't believe how fast time goes. I did a tour of Japan with Joshua Rifkin and Cambridge Concentus, and we took St. Matthew Passion, the Bach oratorio. We sang it one on a part on tour in Japan for we through 3 weeks, something like that. And it was such a great experience. We got to sing in some of the best concert halls in Japan, and it was so memorable. So, and I got to meet some really wonderful Japanese uh, musicians that I still keep in touch with on Facebook today, which is really great. Um, and I've sung with the Naples Philharmonic down here in Florida. That was a real joy. We got to sing Messiah down there. Um, yeah, I've sung with Boston Early Music Festival a few times, which is a really wonderful company. I was honored to get to work with them for several seasons. And actually, they're about to rebroadcast one of the shows that I was in I think in November. They're going to do a exploration of the myth of Orpheus, and I was in a production of the Descent of Orpheus to the Underworld by Charpentier, and it was such a magical experience. It's such an interesting company, and they have just some of the best historical costumers and stage directors and dramaturgs and musicians from all around the world, and it's a really wonderful creative experience.
Wow.
Those are some of my favorites, but
So you've been having an incredible time as a singer. I saw too when I read your bio, all the contests and prizes and awards you won, and the things that people would write about you and your voice. I had to share it. Like Thea has been hailed as excellent, impeccable, lividly beautiful, impressive, stunning, and Boston's best. Grammy nominated. I mean, you have just been wowing audiences with your beauty, and I just yeah,
it's an honor, like I'm sure you feel this way too. It's when it's going really smoothly and well, it feels like you're not doing very much, right? Feel more like a vessel,
yeah, like a
than anything else.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm honored to kind of
bring it.
carry through something that comes from somewhere and goes somewhere, and I'm just kind of in the middle.
It's a blessing to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Well, and maybe can I show you some other recordings then?
Get back to, yeah, your Indictus project, and I want.
Yeah, so I have a few recordings. I know Talya usually works with live performers, but I don't really have a setup here to do live performance. So I have some videos for everybody.
Well, we'd love to see them.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe we could get video number 1 queued up.
Okay.
This is, I wanted to find, especially for your audiences, I wanted to especially find Jewish composers that Indictus Project has championed in the last several years. This was a part of our first recording that we made with a grant from University of South Florida. This is a set by Darius Milhaud, who was a French Jew that fled Europe during World War II. And he came to California, I think is mostly where he lived. And he taught at a college there, and he wrote for Hollywood a lot. But I think he was extremely prolific, and he's one of my favorite composers. And I don't think he's appreciated as much as he should be. And probably like half of his music is unrecorded. So this is one of his large vocal sets. This is the last song. It is it's describing going on a walk, and you start to realize that the walk is a metaphor for coming to the end of your life. You kind of thinking about what's about to happen, thinking about looking back on all the things that have happened to you in your life, making peace with what's coming next. So the narrator comes across a cemetery in a beautiful wooded area. So that's a little bit about what I'm talking about in this first clip. So go ahead and start that anytime. And this is with Unmiko.
Okay, good, great.
Je constate notre frontière, j'endure ceci.
That is beautiful. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I really love his music, and I just recently asked Talya if she would be interested in looking at another set of his that we have.
And I said, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, no, take a look, and I hope they fit your voice well, but they're kind of medium high, so I thought it might be good.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm definitely going to learn it.
Okay, great. That would be so wonderful. We'd love to have you.
Thank you.
More on that later. But yeah, Milhaud is one of our favorites. And another one that I thought would be very interesting for you guys is Clara Feist is a German composer, and she wrote this setting of the story of Abraham and Isaac.
Nice.
So this one has subtitles so you can kind of follow. But she's another one. She was I think, oh gosh, I think Bruch, the composer, I think she was almost like an assistant to him. And she was at the time a very well-respected pianist and composer in Germany, I think especially southern Germany, but her legacy has been almost completely erased. Of all of her music, there's only a couple recordings that existed before we started doing them, and we have a few more that are going to come out soon. And they're stunning. I really love her writing. So maybe if we could get the second one queued up, that would be great.
I love the way, by the way, you're French. Your voice sounds singing French. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Your diction is really good.
Oh, I appreciate it. That's good because I know French is it's easy to make mistakes in French.
Let's hear it and watch it.
This is in German, by the way.
It's German.
Der Knabe auf dem Schultern trägt das Holz zum Opferbrand zerlegt. Der Alte trägt den Opferstand, der funkelt rot im Frühlingsstrahl. Der Knabe zu dem Vater spricht und hebt empor sein Holdgesicht. Das Holz zum Opfer hab ich ihm gesagt. Vater, wo das
I think we can stop it here. I think it was. Thanks. Sorry.
Was that in your church? Was that performed?
That was our church, and that was my husband Sam accompanying me.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it's so fun to get to make music with him.
Oh, it's
Great.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And your
it's great
drum-
because he also knows the more about the technology and the filming and the audio and stuff. So
That's
even
great.
better.
That's beautiful too. It was beautiful. And
Thank you.
yeah, what do you like singing in the best? Do you like singing in German or French or English? What is your favorite language to
I would
sing?
say probably my German is the best, but I love singing in all languages. For a little while I did a lot of Hungarian. Oh, it was so fun.
To hear
It's
that.
hard to keep up. You learn it and you get really into it for a little while, but if you're not doing it like every week or something like that, you kind of start to forget all the nuances. I did a Portuguese, both from Portugal and from Brazil, Portuguese recital a few years ago, and it was very difficult to get into, but it was so fun. I love learning unusual languages. For me, unusual. I love learning new languages to pronounce. I don't speak any other languages, which I really wish I did, but I'm learning all the time, and it's so fun. But German is probably my strongest for sounding authentic, my guess. But
And what about where is your family from? Like way back.
well, my grandfather is Cuban American, so my last name is Lobo.
Yeah, I was wondering where that. Lobo.
Yeah.
Last name.
And then let's see, my mom's mom is Scottish American. And then, it's probably a lot of mutt, American mutt type background. But yeah, we still like in my family, we cook a lot of Cuban food and we cook some Scottish food. And my mom's dad was like half Slovenian, so we have some Slovenian recipes in there too.
Nice.
All kind of mixed up. Yeah.
Or you can share with us. Do you have anything else? Is there another piece that you'd like to share?
Oh, yes. Well, okay. I'm trying to think what we have left. Okay. The next one I have is Fannie Mendelson. I just have like a little clip of hers, hopefully. She's another composer that she came from a Jewish family in Germany. And unfortunately, her family was just so scared to be Jewish in Germany in the early 1800s that they were trying to take on different names to try to seem more Christian to avoid persecution. And her and her brother, Felix Mendelssohn, were kind of against it. They identified with being Jewish and they cared about their Jewish heritage. So I brought one of her songs. This is her first published song ever, and it had never been recorded before. So we recorded it just last month. This would be video number 3. if you don't mind. This is the swallow.
Die Schwabe.
O Schwäblein mit der Liebe Blick, zieh doch in jenes Land zurück, wo lebenslos mich schwindet, und findst du dort ein Herzlein mild, das aufnimmt gern der Liebe Bild, so macht, dass es mich finde.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's a cute little ditty.
Stage name?
Sorry,
You had kind of a stage name?
Fannie Mendelson.
It said,
So
yeah, it said Fannie. What did it say? Fannie.
Nay Hensel,
Right.
which is that's her married her name Mendelson. Fannie Hensel name Mendelson. She was born Mendelson and then she married
Hence,
Hensel,
that's her husband's
who
name.
was a visual artist, and he actually drew that portrait of her there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they had the most fascinating, interesting life, but it was kind of sad because her father and her brother Felix, who she was extremely close to, both wanted her to concentrate on being a housewife, and so they really discouraged her from composing.
Yeah.
And her husband, oddly enough, was happy to let her do anything she wanted. He encouraged her to have a career and to compose and not feel so locked down into, housework. And so she did compose more when she was married. And I think right at the end of her life, Felix Mendelssohn, her brother, finally gave his blessing for her to be a published composer.
Oh, really?
But it took, it was their whole life. It was
Your brother
an
was
issue.
competitive with her.
Yeah, so it's a weird, weird angle to think about them.
Yeah. There's so much history. And so it's interesting to learn the stories, behind everything. Well, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, no, thank you. And actually, I brought a couple new ones. We're working on a set right now by Moritz Muskowski, who is a Polish Jewish composer. He was born in Poland and then he grew up in Germany. He spent most of his life in Germany. And he also there's a lot of pieces of his that are unrecorded, and we are trying to do a whole big set of them. Nice. And we have more coming, but we have 2 tracks that I wanted to share with you guys. These haven't been put out yet, so this is premiere exclusive. Yeah. So the first one we have is Unmiko, who's I'm the director of Indictus Project, and she's the assistant director of Indictus Project. Nice. She prepared this just in the last few days, and so we put it together really fast to show you guys. This is Bagatelle by Muskowski. I think we'll just play like the second half of it or something.
Okay. was lovely.
Yeah, it's a delightful piece. I'm so excited that this is a part of a set of 3 bagatelles that we'll be putting out later this month. So
Yeah, it's good energy. It felt like very upbeat and happy and
yeah. Oh, and her playing is so exquisite. I love the way she plays.
just so fluid and oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great that you teamed up. What a dynamic duo you guys are.
Oh, oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so lucky to get to work with her.
Right. It's wonderful.
So yeah, I can't wait to get to know more about Morris Muskowski, and we're gonna put together like some biographical information and release that as well. So follow us on Facebook, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So most of our recordings are on YouTube, and we have our website, which is indictus.org. I just, I encourage everyone to be adventurous listeners, because there's a lot of injustice in the way that we take in history and the way that we take in art. So many people, so many minority groups, so many women that have been left out of the conversation forever. And now's the time that we're becoming more aware of that imbalance. And so if you're listening, take a chance, listen to something you've never heard before.
It's a great initiative. It's a really awesome thing that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
And getting people.
I'll be so happy to get to work with you on it too. It's going to be so great.
Thank you for asking me. I can't wait.
Oh, of course. So we have one last special recording. If you want, this is another premiere. We'll release it more officially later in the month. But this is Schlaflied by Moritz Muskowski, and it has subtitles, so you'll be able to follow what she's saying. It's in German, and this is contralto Robin Beer and Sarah Burdick on piano. And I hope you enjoy Schlaflied.
Thank you.
Schlaf, Bübchen, schlaf, dein Vater ist ein Graf, deine Mutter war ein töricht Kind, ein einfach töricht Kind. Schlaf, Bübchen, ein, war gar hold und fein, sprach von Träumung süßes Wort, die Winde trugen's fort. Schlaf, schlaf, mein Lieb, nun wird mein Singen trüb. Eine stolze Braut dein Vater freit, das ist mein Herzeleid. Eine stolze Braut dein Vater freit, das ist mein Herzeleid. Schlaf, Bübchen mein, nun sind wir ganz allein, nun wein ich meine Augen rot um bittere, bittere Not. Schlaf, Bübchen, schlaf, dein Vater ist ein Graf, deine Mutter war ein töricht Kind. Ein töricht, töricht Kind.
Nice. That was a pretty lullaby.
So sad.
Very sad, yes.
But Robin sounds glorious, as does Sarah. We're so happy to have their contribution.
How do you know them?
So Robin, I met actually, she used to sing at Church of the Redeemer down here before I was there, but she was visiting and we crossed paths and exchanged information. And we found out that we had sung with a lot of the same people, and we kept in touch. And I found out that she also self-accompanies. And so we were talking a little bit about the possibility of her contributing some pieces, and we found this and a couple others, and it seemed like the right fit. So
yeah, she has a very, very pretty timbre.
Yeah, it's so unusual and rich and beautiful. Yeah,
Lovely. Oh,
so honored. So yeah, you just heard a premiere that has never been recorded before, from what we can tell, or isn't digitally available. So
thank you for doing that on here.
Of course, thank you for listening.
So that was fun. So what is life, just before we go, just tell us a little bit about what life is like living in Sarasota, and just, what's life in Sarasota like, in the music scene, and,
Sarasota is, it's funny because we moved down this year. So we were kind of just getting into the swing of things, and then February, things started to get weird, and then March, everything kind of shut down. So we've only really lived here like 6 months normally. But it's wonderful. Like I said, I grew up here, so I still have some friends, and I knew people at the church, and my parents are here. So that's nice to at least have a little community. That makes it a little easier to go through this year.
Definitely.
But
that's definitely.
Yeah. As anywhere in Florida, half the year is unbearably hot, and the other half the year is glorious. So we're just starting to get into the nice weather. We're happy about that part. We're happy to see the extremely hot weather go. But we're happy to, we're starting to talk with the Ringling Museum. I don't know if any of you have heard of the Ringling Museum. It's John and Mabel Ringling, John Ringling of the Ringling Brothers. He was sort of like robber baron rich. He was extremely rich, and he made this enormous compound, and he made a museum for old world art and a beautiful house that you can tour, and it is gorgeous. And I'm hoping to talk to them about potentially presenting something there. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I love going there. I go there all the time. It's a beautiful place. If anyone's ever looking to get away and come to Sarasota, come visit the Ringling Museum. My own little pitch. I love it there. It's so beautiful. So we're happy to be near there. And it's nice to be near Unni when things are back to normal. It's nice to have a collaborator that's fairly close by, not have to do everything digitally. But Sarasota is a nice little town. We enjoy it.
Have your husband at home that you guys could perform or play together through this whole, being at home.
Yeah, we actually don't get a lot of chances to, because my daughter, she's almost 2.
Yeah.
And she likes music, but she just is very active. She doesn't really like sit quietly and listen. She kind of wants to be involved in everything. So it's not very easy to really collaborate when she's around, but my parents help out a lot. So when we have gigs or rehearsals or things, we have a place to put her. It's safe.
What's your daughter's name?
Her name is Philomena.
Philomena. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Putting her to sleep, I'm sure.
I do actually. I have a little song that
what's the song?
Special song. It's like a little made up song to her.
Can I?
What?
I can't put you on the spot, can I?
Oh, it's private.
Okay.
It's a private song that I have with her.
Okay.
This is I sing her name a bunch of times.
I do the same with my 2-year-old.
Oh.
It's like a whole bedtime ritual.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philomena's been a little under the weather the last few days, so I've been holding her a lot and singing to her a lot. So
the best, right? When mommies can sing, kids.
Yeah, it makes it easier. But I remember when she was really little, I actually traveled a lot when she was younger. I think by the time she was 11 months old, she had been on 11 plane rides.
Yeah, we really traveled a lot.
Wow. Yeah, she traveled a lot back then, but now we haven't traveled at all.
Did you ever live overseas? Did you ever live somewhere for a while?
We were in Boston. Yeah, we had a place in Revere near Boston. It was right next to the ocean. It was really nice. but I was traveling. I had gigs down here in Florida. I have an ongoing relationship with True Concord, which is in Tucson, Arizona. I do some stuff in New York on a regular basis. So
Cool.
that was what was going on then.
Friend, you and I have a good meet. Well, shout out to Julia. She's watching.
Oh yeah, Julia was my college roommate and your childhood friend.
And she was on the show. I guess that was maybe the third time I did this.
Right? Yes. Oh my gosh.
Small world.
Love it.
Small world. Yeah.
It is a small world.
Well, it was
I'm very glad to get to connect.
so wonderful to connect and to learn more about you and see you after all these years and then schmooze and hear what
Yeah.
you're up to amazing things and keep doing what you're doing and keep sharing with the world these gems that you're finding and I can't wait to learn one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send you info to, share around too. And thank you for doing this radio show. This is so great to get to know more about some of these artists and people in your life. And
Thank you. So it's been a fun experience and great way to reconnect and meet new people.
yeah,
Share art.
yeah.
So yeah, lift people's spirits during a time which is, not so easy. So
We all need it.
So thank you for helping to lift us tonight and
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
definitely follow you and be excited to see all the things that you put out there in the world. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on tonight. And
Of course. Shout out to, your congregation and best wishes to you and your family.
thank you to you as well. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for coming on tonight to Tune In with Talya. Come on next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. for another musical artists. And we hope you enjoyed tonight and we'll see you soon. Bye.